Hi guys, welcome to the linking CodeFilm. This is a continuation of the transit that we did from the previous CodeFilm on fronting. In this one, we're going to show the work that has been done, and then we compare two versions of the applications, and we look at some security concerns in regards to the USSD design, and then also we'll look at logging. There are two things. There are some things in my mind. I'm trying to see how I can do the login live for you, because I've already configured the login. I've written the code. I'm just seeing how whether I should find another episode to show you how to go about logging, and also how I implemented the on screen or on prompt incorrect pin. So those things are the hands-on section for those ones. That's what I'm really thinking about now, how I can show that to you, how I did that. Alright, so first of all, let's look at the work that has been done. So let's run our application. Let's run our app. Let's start it up. Run as a Java application, because it's using an embedded server. The SDK we are using, or the API we are using, uses an embedded server, and the embedded server is Jetty. So that's the server. Jetty, and then Spark, the Spark framework. So, and then this is the IP, or this is the address for our application. The port of the application is 4567, and the IP is using is one that is coming from our network card or our network system. So it's a local host then. So I go to my sandbox to have sandbox and go to service codes. I was doing a test on a theory, so that's why you're seeing a lot of logs. So this is our local host IP, and I've pasted it as a callback for our global Africa stocking gateway. There's a theory that when you are on the local host, you can't reach it on the internet, so that's why it's there. So I've actually done that here, and we're going to launch the simulator to have access to our application on the aggregator on this channel. So this is our application on their channel, and this is another application on their channel. But if you're a fintech, you probably have set up this aggregator by yourself, and then there are a number of ways of doing that. So that's the power of USSD. Once you're able to set this thing up for live, all you have to do is extension of channels. So you can have 3894 as your fintech, then you can put a business as a channel, put another business as a channel, put another business as a channel. You make a lot of money. Alright, so let's go straight and start this and see with our localhost IP. This session is already in use with this phone number. Let me change the number to 7. Try another number. Alright, so let's dial the shortcode *384. In other words, go through Africa Stocking Gateway and get my application for me at 4334 hash. So that's my application on your aggregator. I launch it, I get a technical error, and the reason I'm getting this error is because I'm using a local host to do that. So if I go to my sessions and I look at my logs tells me that down at 122 I have 122. It says that you have a call filled with TCP command. It says because connection was refused, and the reason is all because of firewalls and networking stuff that is preventing my IP address from being seen on the global world. So we have to find a way of doing that. So that's why we use ngrok. Ngrok will expose what's on localhost to the world. So if you didn't want ngrok, you have to probably go and get a DNS and all these hosting services. So ngrok, so we have ngrok. So if I do ngrok tunnels local ports to public URLs and inspects traffic. So we're going to secure a public URL for a port. This 8080 web server. We are going to do ngrok of HTTP of the port is 4567. is HTTP because it's an on the application layer. I want to reach an application, and it is 4567 because that's the port, or that's the application that's on this port. It will pick the local host from its configuration down here by the brilliant man over here. So ngrok, let's go. Let's generate our public URL. We've gotten one. We want to have one HTTP. We have one HTTPS. So it's still, one has security, one has no security in a nutshell. So we'll pick the one with no security for now. There's no risks involved. Let's go back to our service codes. These things are very interesting when you really understand what you are doing, but when you don't understand what you are doing, it's a living hell. You can really get frustrated. You can do a lot of crazy things when you don't understand. So we are replacing the original URL we had here, the local host one, with the world one, the global one. And remember, we didn't go to any DNS or any hosting server to go and buy a domain that has been registered with the registrar, that long process. We just use ngrok to get that. Alright, so it says it has been updated. Let's go back to our emulator. Let me launch it from here. Alright, still showing the same error. So refresh it. Let's get a number. So this number is still in session. I have to clear. I have to reload my browser. So I changed the number to 7. So it's still an MTN number, but that number is stuck in a session in their system. So unless we probably log out and log in again to get rid of that number. So 384 hash star 3433 433 hash. Let's dial it. Oh, why we still? Let's go back. Has it really recognized our update has been done? Let's confirm that you can really see our update. Let me look at ngrok too. Ngrok hasn't yet received any command from our URL, so I think it's still, there's still not, and there's no issue from our end. There's an issue from whether it has been updated or not, the time bound. So let's close this. Let's launch our simulator again. Let's pick a number. I'm sure this one is still stuck in a session. Let's use 7. Let's use 7. Let's start the short code again. Star 433 hash. Let's start this. We have to see the view. Voila. So it was a matter of time, going to do an update in the database, and maybe some internet or connectivity or bandwidth or latency issues in terms of the time it takes to go and do all this stuff. So whatever is working now. So now you can see our view. And if you think sometimes these things will really get stuck, always refer to the OSI model. The OSI model will help you to see, especially the TCP one, help you to troubleshoot stuff faster, because right now we are just on the application layer. We are talking to a database on Africa stocking. That's how it's being done, because you creating this is a form. You are doing a post. So save is a post. If I'm to inspect this form, probably see here's a form. So there's nothing really new. It's a form. So it's actually doing a creation or an insertion or an update in their DB. So those latencies and some time delays will definitely cause some hitches here and there. But in a nutshell too, could also be using Ajax somewhere, because Ajax is asynchronous, so that we don't actually see all these delays and stuff. But most of the time we are going with the form method. I'm not their designer and I don't want to be their designer, but you can see it's just a form. It's not really a form. So once you see a form, know that there's some persistency taking place in somewhere, and then you're in a different view. So calling all these methods from different views, that kind of stuff. Yeah, so that's just by the way. Hey. So now let's start. So this is the work that has been done. You can see our front view now. So let's go straight to why we're even on this CodeFilm. So now let's look at this version of the application. I'm going to link my Ghana card to my account, so I'm going to enter 1, and entering 1 is, when you see entering 1 is a menu or a level. So we have a level, every menu and a level, menus and level. A menu is what you are seeing, that's the front end. A level is an API or an action or a method or a process or an operation. See it as that. So every menu is a front end, but every level is a logic or is a process or it's a business operation or it's a method or anything. So you can get the menu all right. So this is the first menu you see, but when I enter this level, I have to see a different operation. Session has expired. So good, I like this. Good, session has expired. So session has expired simply means that, you know, USSDs have some form of sessions timeout and sessions bounds. When I say a session, it's like a time clock ticking or a clock ticking against something. So if you enter a system and then by 50 seconds you're not yet done, we time you out because of maybe security reasons or some reasons that we've designed the system. So USSDs are mostly like that. So you mostly face customer response timeout, application response timeout, or it also could be the there's one more timeout that you have to watch out for, and then also the session length. Session length. So customer response timeout is I delayed in responding, so that's why my session has expired. We also have the session length of a USSD. You know, all USSDs also have some session bound. You know, in a normal instance, okay, if customer doesn't respond within this seconds, timing out, fine. But also, if I'm in a process of entering the menus, every level I'm entering, there's a time frame or there's a time bound for that. You understand? That time bound is the USSD session length. And then also the custom application response timeout depends on my mobile network. So the application response timeout is more of this is my application, alright. This is my application running. How long does it take for me to hit this URL to get feedback from my server? You understand? And that one is mostly connection pooling stuff. So when I come down here, this connection pooling configuration. And I say connection pooling because your data is sitting on a server somewhere. You understand? So you getting your information from a database. It's also, if your database, you have a nice timeout or some form of connection to the database, the timeout or the threads going into the database to get data, you know, you have a number of pools, maybe you have 3 and then a maximum of 15, minimum of 3 threads or 3 threads and a maximum of 15 threads, and then the maximum, the timeout is 18000 seconds. If you convert that to minutes, I think it's close to 2 minutes or so. So it's a property that is being defined for you to get data from your database, you know, because you don't get data from a database in one transaction. When I say that, I mean one transaction from a single user, but if you have multiple users, the maximum number of connections to the database. So you have like let's say John logging in, so let's pick this. You have root, I'm logging into this instance, I'm doing some operation, transactional operation, I get my data. Also, you could also have Jesse also logging into the same database. He gets a thread, he's also going into the same database. You could also have Nancy going into the same database, he also gets a thread, he does what he wants and he comes out. So you define your thread pools for that. That's in terms of multiple users. So for a single user, you know, you are going into your database, you do some stuff, you do one operation or a transaction, you get your data, you go also into the database. So that one, the thread will have to be closed afterwards because you are done with that session. But if I'm going and Jesse is going and Amma is going all into that, everybody is getting their own thread to that. So that brings the atomicity and ACID principles of databases, where we talk about atomicity, the CID, atomicity, Oh God, I've forgotten the whole explanation. It's ACID, so the ACID principle of a database. Let's just look at the meaning of that. Yeah, so that's where the ACID principle comes inside. You understand what I'm saying? So that one is dependent on how you've configured your application to do that request. So the application response depends on the mobile network, the different vendors of the GSM equipment too. So every application, once you've done your application timeout for yourself, and then you go and give it to MTN, or you are dialing from MTN, you are dialing from an MTN telco operator, how they've decided to respond is dependent on them. It's not really your work, but you've done your stuff, so you have to make sure that your timeout configurations are all right in your connection pooling, because connection pooling can really stress you out in some instances whereby you are trying to get data from your database and it seems like a thread is stuck, a thread is not being released, or a thread hasn't been closed, you know, and then there's a timeout for that too. So if you go in and within that pool, they're like accounting, like go in and come out within this time, and actually time you out. So all these things are part of it. So it's good to know them. It's just good to know them. If you want to read more about ACID, you can definitely take time to read more about ACID. And also if you want to know about connection pooling, hibernate timeout, the timeout variable or property, you can spend some time to know, but it just helps you to know your debugging properties, you understand, so that you know atomicity, consistency, isolated. There's the isolated, whereby you have end users all going inside, and then durable. So yeah, it's just for you to know, so you know how to debug your application. So now we have been faced with this session has expired, so this is more of the session length and also the customer response. I didn't respond early, so you know as time goes on, you know which timing is causing which. Right now we are not the real handlers of the application. We are using a gateway to do that, but if I have to write my own handlers, probably I'll define my own sessions and stuff. Yep, so this is just for you to know. Okay, so let's dial it again. So we are starting a new session, you get it? So this is the old session is gone, we are starting a new session. How do I know that I'm starting a new session? I've done some logs here. This is just console logs. So this is just console logs. So you can actually see that's where we have to improve our login. You can actually see the session ID here. So every new request is like to the API is a different session ID. So here are coming with a different session ID. Let me go to Postman. So when you come to Postman, and you look at this, you know, these post parameters that are sending to the API, their API is saying that this is a session ID, your service code, your phone number, and your text. Your session ID, once you start, you are inside the session. So I started with 1, I'll say 1, and I'm going with this service code, which is my channel on the aggregator. The phone number, you know, don't worry about the phone number, that's just the phone I'm dialing from on a USSD or an actual you have a name for this phone, GSM phone, or not GSM, my phones are almost GSM, a feature phone, or a non-smartphone, or how do we call it? Phones that are not smart or just any phone at all, like you're calling from a phone, like a mobile phone. Yeah, so just put that in your head. That's the meaning of the phone number, and then you have the text. So realize that that's the session I started with, so that's my print. But if I'm coming again, my session ID has to what? Change. My session ID will change if it's coming from the same phone. So you have ways of tracking the session. So if you didn't finish your process and it's coming from the same phone, we can say if the session ID wasn't complete, if that wasn't completed, then you know, go back to where you started from. That's handling the session, because you didn't finish in that session. You are coming from the same phone number, but if it's coming from a different phone number, your session is going to be fresh. You understand? So those handling, you do that, but there's a simple explanation so you don't get lost with USSD session handling. So you can actually have a database where you store your sessions and you start comparing. If it's coming from the same phone and the session wasn't completed, how do you know the session wasn't completed? You could have a state variable, or you could have some way of determining if a session was completed or not. You are the programmer, so you will definitely find a way of doing that. But if it wasn't completed and you are coming again, so it's completed probably when there's a process is being done. So you have our database and we see completed, maybe yes or no or success or something, because it's an API you are posting, so you can have a response coming from it. But if it's not completed, then come back and tell him that this is where you left off. Very simple logic, it's not complicated at all. So let's go back and see. Let's enter one. Session has expired again. Alright, that's fine. So let's come back to our console. So we are seeing, I think, the logs have been improved, and now you just bear with me with these white logs. It's not good, but logging is so key that sometimes you just have to not compromise on it, but actually have time and design your own logging system. So let's dial it again. So it has started again. See, you can actually see the logs here. So it says that the body sent was this phone number. It's doing some encoding, and this is the session ID. So if you compare this session ID to what was done before, so the session ID for the first one was, let's say it ended in, it's completely different. Look, this one starts with 20, this one starts with E. So two different session ID, because a new request or post request to the API or to their gateway. So that's the explanation. But if it's coming from the same phone number, let's say you are coming from the same phone number with a different session ID, you are coming from the same number, your process wasn't completed, you are coming with the same phone number, I wouldn't really want to generate can compare that. If it's coming from the same phone number, I'll be sure that the session ID or the state wasn't completed. I'll start fine. Then why don't you go back to where you ended off? That's a brilliant way of handling your session, because you want them to actually go back and complete what they're doing because they didn't finish. So it depends on the application design too, but that could have been done easily. It's not a challenge at all. You just have to keep logs of your sessions in a database or in a table, and then you see what state the person is inside. If it wasn't completed, then fine. Why don't you just come back to where you left off? So I'll show you how to even can actually write that for you. But I'll show you how I did the pin. The pin is the one that up to now some USSD operators don't really have it. They let you complete the whole state and tell you that your process wasn't that your pin or this process was not successful, which is wrong. You understand? You have to prompt them as and when it occurs. And this programming, it seems so lame, but I myself, I struggled a little to come up with a logic for that because of USSD programming, yeah. So that was just by the way. So let's try again. It has expired again, so we are generating the same one from the same phone number. You understand? So it's from the same phone. So it's from the same phone, and the process hasn't been completed. Then why should I come back to the beginning of the? Why should I come back to the beginning? I don't need to come back to the beginning. You understand? So now let's just continue. This is so easy, bro. So now enter mobile number. Voila. So we are inside the process now. So we are still continuing. It says enter phone number. So you see we have this. Let's look at our logs. We began with this session ID. You understand? This is what we had from the post. We began with this, and this is the network code. So this is they have from their API that MTN or 9999, maybe because we're on demo. So this is a session ID. So we are going with this session ID. So I'm going to enter a mobile number. Let's enter in the mobile number 0275684320. Let's look at this. It says sorry, the account doesn't exist. You understand? So right now we're actually going into the logics. So the account doesn't exist. You get what I'm trying to say? So and then the session ends. So it ends because we are using an end parameter. Let's go back. I don't want to go into the code. I'm trying to make time for the code. I just want you to understand the USSD menu, the level and the flow that is going on. That's why I'm not letting you look at the source code, because all this is programming. There is no copy and paste anywhere. You have to at least sit down and think through it, and it's easy. It's very, very easy if you just take your time and say I want to do this and I'll do it in this way. You breathe in and breathe out, drink some water, you get it. It's not hard. Yeah, it's hard in thinking, but it's not hard when you believe that you can write it, because you have to write it to make your customers feel good. Yeah, so say sorry, account does not exist, thank you Horizon Bank. So how does it know my account doesn't exist? So let's go to our database. These things are, trust me, once you get these things, it's very sweet, you really love it. But when you don't understand, you always struggle when you see it as rocket science. So let's select our database, and our database is fine. We can find our database from our application. So let's use our application to find our database. So our connection URL says that our database is called BankDB. So it says that JDBC is the driver, MySQL is the database, then localhost, and then the MySQL port is 306. So we are using a MySQL DB, and we are using a JDBC driver. If it was a different database, I'm sure Oracle would have been here, then maybe the driver would still have been JDBC, I don't know, but it's a schema that doesn't change. You get it? It tells you that this is a database you are using, then the connection to the database. Then after that, you have the database table. That's the database table, and then because you are going with some connection, it says that USSD to be equals to false, because MySQL is a client server program. A client is your source code, or even your queries could be the client. This could be the client. Me logging in, that's root. When I come here, I log in, I'm a client to the server. So when I do a select somewhere, the server tells me that this is possible or not. So select maybe well, let's see, well, so I'm just doing anything. This so there's no schema for this. Okay, there's nothing like global in their syntax, so let's just do select maybe 1. You can do select 1 and fine. So that's a query that we've done inside our, so this is our client. I inside now I'm a client because I logged in as a user as root, so I'm a client to the server, and the server is all these database instances. So that's this for you. Yep. So yeah, so so if you use a different database, MongoDB, the connection URL will still be like this, but please, hey, watch out for this construct. Find out how to put this construct together. You can actually Google more stuff, but it's a schema type for it's a URI, URI. So this is a URI, yeah, and it becomes a URL when you are getting something from the internet, like endpoint, and like endpoint home. Then the location for maybe everything concerning my home is at this URL, the locator. Yeah, that's just by the way. Okay, yeah, so what was I now? So this is our database table. So the table, and then they can get complicated, just as with databases to, you know, normal URLs. Okay, fine, say go to my endpoint home, and go to go and perform a query that you want my maybe go to my home and see if you can find the number of bedrooms. I see my number of bedrooms is equal to 5, and if you have my number of bedrooms which is equal to 5, and you can find the size of the bed, if you tell me 5, you enter the size, you're actually doing a query inside my locator to find more about me. So the URI instance syntax can vary. You can Google more on this. You can add more parameters here, and sometimes we add the time zone parameter, so server time zone, and when there's different time zones, you can add that parameter and say it's equal to UTC-CS. This one is also there for you to know, and that's the query. So yeah so let's continue. So now let's go to our BankDB. Let's go to BankDB. BankDB, so say use BankDB. First, let's see if you can see BankDB. So say show databases. So show databases. Okay, so BankDB is listed here. Show databases, and then select use BankDB. So you are using BankDB, it has been selected. And so show tables at BankDB. customers, then select star from customers. Now it show me all the customers at Bank BB. You have all the customers. Alright, so let me expand this view. Let me start walking through all this. Okay, so we are trying to do a query against a number that doesn't exist here. So if I come here now, let's do select star from customers where phone number is equal to what I entered online. Do I remember what I entered online? That's why we have logs. You understand? That's the necessity of logs. If I wasn't console logging this, I wouldn't have seen this number. So logs are important. So as much as possible, time should be spent writing good logs. So let's do a query. See, there is no record of that. All my columns here are null because there is no record of that on my database. So let's now look for a record on my database. We have now, as compared to our previous video, we all had card number column, but now I've created two columns. I have the pin number and then we have the status. So why do I have a pin number and have a status? I'll explain that to you very shortly. So let's use this number. Let's use this pin. Okay, and then this way the security concerns are also coming in now. So let's use this pin and let's use this phone number. So we are going to say that Kumi Kumsin wants to now do linking to his Ghana card. He has no Ghana card linkage done. So this is Kumi Kumsin. So we pick Kumi Kumsin's details, phone number, and then we go back to aggregator and dial again. So this is a new USSD session. A new session has started. And you can start the session IDs is going to be different. So this is the session ID for this one. That's the USSD session ID. You understand? And compared to the previous one, there are two separate sessions. You understand? But if it's coming from the same phone number, your logic is that if it's coming from the same phone number and your state hasn't been completed, go back to where you ended. You understand? So since it's coming with the new session, we haven't written that handling. We can't actually do that. We'll see. I'll try and write that live. Challenge myself and write that live. Alright, so let's continue. Enter phone number. Let's have our database by me. Send. Voila, now we can get his phone number. You understand? So if we get his phone number, it says Kumi Kumsin, this is your phone number, then you have to enter pin and proceed. Alright, so this is it for this one. Let me look for the other one. There's one too that is another project that has, we're supposed to have the vanilla ice of all this. Okay, so I may mention in the beginning that you will look at some security concerns and also look at our ordinary stuff. So there's another lab for this. Let me see. Let me just look at the view section for this and see. They all have the block status. Okay, so this one has a block. This one has a maximum number of pin tries. We haven't yet gone into the source code, so don't look at me if I'm actually tampering. Alright, good. So this one has no pin prompt. So now let's look at what is being done here. So this is the labs for that one, and then we have the actual login. I'll go into that one later on. I know sometimes some will try or CodeFilms try and do more hands-on. I actually do some of these things behind the scenes because I take a lot of time to think through it. Yep. Yeah, that's one way. Alright, so let's enter the pin for this. We have live sessions too. I need another monitor. So I can be working fully. Right now I'm using only one screen. My session has expired. So good. But I mean my process hasn't completed, you understand? So I have to come back again and handle this. You understand? The reason why, so right now let's go back. It's not convenient at all. So let's dial it again. It's not friendly. The experience is not good. Okay, so we'll create that table today. enter phone number. We're having technical issues. What technical issues are we experiencing? Okay, copy the network, copy the phone number. Now let's enter his pin. I'll try and make time and do all these things for you, so I'll show you how we did it. Why we keep getting let me check if there's showing some exceptions. Transaction is already active. Yeah, so we may measure transactions initially, so transaction is already active. We come back. Okay, so it's showing some funny. Why am I opening somewhere else? Let's try again. Not only because we are inside. Let's enter the phone number. Let's enter the pin. Oh, transaction is already active. Oh, let's do a commit here. I think it's on auto commit already. It's already on auto commit. So why is it? Right, so let's go back and enter the pin. We have the pin already. Sorry. Pin. I don't want to get another error telling me the transaction is already active. Session has expired. The reason I can't track my session at the moment is that I'm not logging it in the database. I'm not logging it from the database. I'm posting it just on console. So console is not fresh. It's not a fresh state. It's just on my console. Like there's no persistency anywhere. Let's go again. Let's enter pin. It says blocked. The account status is blocked, but we'll try and fix it later on. So let's go to my logs and see what I see. So 567. It's not showing any other exception. Okay, let's copy this to a file. We can actually check the logs from the USSD aggregator, but let's have a sticky note first. Let's save this somewhere. Because if that's the case, then it could be that when we started the transaction, okay, let me save these parameters here. Then we'll debug why this is giving me this error. So we look at it at their console log first. Their log system here. So we have our parameters fine. Now let's go back. Let's see the logs sessions. Let's go to sessions. Let's find out why this hop is not working. And we can debug. Could be a network. It could be a response does not start with con or end. So it's my error. So let's go into our source code and fix that. So it's actually a database operation. DAO. Verify phone number. So we have this is a message we want to show. For now, don't worry about the source code. Let's go to the level. Which level is that? Enter mobile number. When you're done entering your mobile number, 1. Verify. Let's go to the display. Enter pin message. Okay, so it says con. Enter pin. So let's go to after enter pin. Let's go back to the view. Sorry. Respond. Verify phone number. If it's successful. Enter pin. So 1. Enter mobile number. Onboarded string. Enter pin message. Verify the phone number. Come with the response. And then enter pin. So after you've entered your pin, as you call the enter your Ghana card number. So let's see. Let's look at the hops again. I've entered my pin. So after entering my pin, it says enter pin. So next one is enter Ghana card number if it's right. So after enter pin, enter Ghana card number, and then message here, and get the implementation. So so many classes are being done. Let's put this one. Okay. Yeah, this one worked, but enter pin. Enter pin. Okay, let's go back. Okay, after entering pin, we could do our verification, and I think the process ends there in my source code. So after this, we enter pin and compare it here. Yeah, that's the process. My process just is a respond.toString. So it says here I'll see if times that's enter with the phone number, and I enter pin. So I've entered my pin, and I come and call this on the same level. I call this enter pin message, and I enter pin. You've entered your pin, respond that enter pin message, and I'll come back to let's compare it here. So enter my pin, enter pin messages here. So enter pin. So we've entered our pin. Yeah, if that's what we've done, we've entered our pin. After entering our pin, we have to show display the Ghana card here. So that's the next one. So let's look at our process flow. 1 star mobile number. So that's the menu, the hops or the level. So 1. So we are here now. 1 star. And get the onboarded message. So this is the onboarded phone number. You have the onboarded phone number. So we are in the onboarded phone number now. You do verify mobile number. So verify mobile number. You enter your verify number. So you get your phone number and then enter your PIN. So you've entered your PIN. After entering your PIN, you get a response. So I think I haven't handled this one in this project. So incoming text is 1 in this, final response incoming text. So yeah, it hasn't really been handled here. That's what's happening here. So so this is the let's go back in. Let's run our military again. So this will be the first version, the version that doesn't really have what I want. I have 2 versions to look at. Okay, so okay, I don't want, let's pick another number. All these ones are encrypted. The encrypted ones, I don't really remember the pin. So let's use this. Let's use Mariam. Let's just give Mariam a pin, and let's test with Mariam too. 1 2 3 4, and let's give her account status of opened. Let's apply this. Let's go back and test again. So so when we modify, you realize that the date modified also changed to this time. So let's use Mariam now. Let's use the Mariam number. Let's try this again. I have 2 versions for verification. So let's start again. So we have Mariam here. So enter pin. So 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. So let's go and look at our logs and see where we've got into now. Where we are now, we are at this is where we are now. We're at 1 and then the phone number. So we're on this level now. 1 and then the phone number. So this is where we are now. There is no condition for the pin here. There is no condition for the pin at this moment. So 1 and the phone number. So enter pin messages here. So that's what we are going to do now. So let's enter the pin. So technical problem. So this is the response doesn't come with. So that it hasn't been handled. That process of getting the pin hasn't been handled here. Wow. Okay, so that's this application type. So in this application type, we haven't handled the pin section of it. We have another application whereby we've handled the pin section. So for now, you can actually see that we are doing verification of the phone number, whereby we are verifying the phone number, the identity of the person. We have one. We'll look at the other version very soon, so that our process will be complete. I'm sorry. Remember, when we enter a number doesn't exist, it tells us that it doesn't exist, so which is good, which is a good thing, because when we go to the source code, that's this line. I'm sorry. Apps. This is the method. There's the object that stores our response. So this is an API. Let's go to the implementation of this API. In the info. So if it doesn't exist, this is the message we are throwing to them. And we come to the app session and we add a concat of what end. So it actually ends here per our flow. There is no other flow to handle the pin number yet. So this version is correct and it's legal that we've ended here, because if we enter our pin and then it's successful, we are not returning a response for that condition. We are just taking our phone number, then we have the pin, so we are not really verifying, we are not really doing the verification here. Okay, so that's it for this actual process. So what did we look at here? You see, with this one, the phone number, if someone picks your phone number and wants to link your Ghana card, he has to actually, the process is not linear, you understand? It tells you if an account number exists or not, but you are entering a mobile number, so anybody can pick your phone, anybody can pick the short code dial and enter a phone number of a person. But if the pin prompt wasn't there, you see, that's the design of the pin. So let's do one. I'm sure I have to have a version whereby I didn't really finish everything. So let's look at this now. So this side is enter mobile number. It's on someone's phone, so if he enters your phone number, fine, he can verify, you understand? You can verify, some call validate, but whatever you choose is up to you. So if you can verify, and this time I'm on my phone, it could be your friend's phone, he has entered his phone number and he's going to enter a pin. So if you didn't have this section there, this flow there, once he just gets your phone number, he types in, he's gone. But because we have a pin section, that's why this pin table was created. The pin table was created because we wanted to now do validation or verification of someone who picks the phone number, because initially we said all customers will come to the branch and then all this will be created for them, remember all these things. So that's why we have this menu, this checker, to be ensured that those entering the pins are the real users of what, the phone. Because if you have shared your pin with someone, then that's a risk on your end. But from what you know, sorry, it's the network. From what we know, you are not supposed to share your pin with anybody, because you are doing that at your own risk, unless probably you want to now add 2FA and stuff. Oh, our service is down. Sometimes it's the network. Oh, what's happening? I was it showing an exception? Oh, it was showing an exception. Oh, it says transaction is already active. Okay, so let's do this because I've clicked on it. Let's do commit. Let's start again. Okay, you know why? Because I've clicked. I'm picking. It's like I was trying to do an edit or so. Let's do one. Okay, good. So it's because I was trying to run edit on it, but when you do the commit, it goes. That's the whole idea of the ACID principle. I'm here as a user. I'm also here as a user. Two separate users. Here I'm here as user root. I'm here too as user root on the same database for the same table. Let's enter the pin. Let's enter the wrong pin and then realize that it's still saying transactions already active or network. I think this CodeFilm is quite straightforward. I think I've tried my best to explain some why we have the security concerns here. Yeah, so pin 1 2 3 4. That's the pin we gave to Mariam. Yeah, so there's no handler for that process as rightly explained, because when it's going to that process now, it brings this level, a pin, a phone number, and then the entry level on one, just for one level. So what this level has is just a number. That's the level. The menu for this has a level. It has a pin. It has the menu, the one, the level, the phone number, but there is no continuation of what pin. You get it. So if I just add that one, realize that one too can be handled by doing else if. But it's not that straightforward. You have to actually do some programming for that. So let's just do it for the sake of yes. So let's copy this and let's add. Oh god, I also have to save a variable for pin. You can't just wake up and change things. You have to have another variable for pin. Okay, so let's just do this. Text.comment intent equals to I'll do this one live for you. So let's do one. See, this is even wrong program. Look at this. Am I going to handle for all occurrences? You understand? I realize that this was being done somewhere. That look at what if the pin is incorrect? How am I going to check incorrect pin on this logic? Let's look at this. I'm passing the same onboarded phone number, and I add another plus a star for the pin. So now I'll say maybe pin. So let's go and define a variable for pin and take the pin. So how am I getting the phone number? I do a split here. I said the phone number will always be at an array of 1. Save a copy of the phone number. So I'll define another string for pin. Let me just make it pin. So it says pin string. Fine. And I'll say pin string will always be in which text array of what? Here is 1. So 1. So it's working like this. After every length of 2, it counts for that, because it's picking some default parameters on its own. It picks the phone number, service code, network code. So the text here is taking 1 and the phone number and then the pin. So we count after a certain number of steps or length. Yeah, so if here is a 1, here's a 2, but I can't just do this. I have to handle an exception, because at that point at runtime that hasn't yet been done, so it will try a null pointer exception. Yeah, so just to show you that this level is being handled, so pin string, let's do just pin string, and the variable is even out of scope here. So let's see, initialize variable. Okay, let's initialize it. This way it won't really work. I've tried this thing, so right now I see it's no. So let's just run it and see, and let's try a response. If we get here, let's try a response dot append. The append is a string buffer append, so let's just say con, because we want to continue on the USSD gateway. That's continuation of the session. we are here. Let's just do we are here. Let's see what we get. Okay, so let's run it again. I'm expecting some errors because of the what? Unable to perform on machine at line 0. Reference is no. Let's try this again. I think it's the ampersand I added. This is the ampersand. Okay, let's just I think let's do this. It doesn't work. I'll just remove that side because I have to actually check the documentation to find out how to connect with that. Okay, so that's it. So that was the error. Is the continuation use USSD? Is the how to construct the query for the time zone too as well. So now let's go and look at what happens when we dial this. Now we've added a level for the pin. So as you are getting a index out of band, you can't just go and add stuff. So array is out of band because when we are starting, the length is going to be 1. The length is 1 and you're counting 2, so it's not really looking good here. So what are we going to do now? So pin string, let's see. I'm not ready to count. Honestly, I'm not ready to be doing this live. That's the sincere truth because I've already written it somewhere. I have to be counting. Index 2 is out of bounds for length of 1. Index 2 is out of bounds for a length of 1. Yeah, so the length of 1. So because we haven't yet gotten to the pin level yet, so how are we going to get to the pin level yet? Are we going to put another if statement? All this is concerns, but let's do this. I'm trying not to do everything live, but I don't want to. I think I'll just see. I should be equal to 1 plus this thing. I'll say I plus later on. It's not really correct, but for now I will be equal to 1. Then if it changes, then we'll do some work. I actually spent some time writing the logic for the pin reset. I just want to show the next level. I want to see if I can get that one done, but I've already written it somewhere. It's already been done for that pin side, but the security concerns here also refer to that if we had no pin level, still catching an exception. Index 1 is out of bounds, so 1 won't be suitable here because when we are starting, the length has to be greater than 2. So let's just do 0. Oh god. Oh, why are we having errors? Let's change the number and see something. So I think it's a general problem, maybe from my network. Oh. Let's launch it again. After this, we move to the other version, the actual version that has everything inside. Just want to try handle this. Oh, failed to launch. Try again. Why? Okay, your session has expired. You need to log in again. Okay, fine. Let's log in again. Your session has expired. So it was counting, or it was checking our session state. I can see some tokens working at the back there. Access tokens and refresh tokens working behind the scenes. Alright, so connect. This number is still in session. Wow, all this time. Right, the instance hasn't been cleared. So we start 384 star 433 hash. Okay, let's continue. Just doing a select. Okay, so now we don't have that exception throwing. Fine, so it means that this logic is working perfectly. I equals to 0. Okay, let's enter pin. Still have an issue. Let's go and check our logs. It has to do with the response. 1 2 3 4 1 2 1 2. Wait. It says text must be equal to text. Still not within the pin. Okay, let me just do this. I'm feeling easy to think. So let's hard code this. Actually, I have to pick the pin from this, but no, let me just hard code this and see something. So we can actually move on. But don't worry, I have the logic there. It's just I'm feeling lazy. I have to pick it from this code. I didn't really comment some things. I just wrote, and the comment is not really clear. Even here, text array has been equal to length of 2, which is not good. Okay, let me just, for the sake of continuation. things, you know. It's so sad. I'm getting I don't even know where it's coming from. But we'll leave it to just I'll look at it later on. This is just the first version. It's not really the concern. The concern is about the security aspect. So I don't know. I have to actually take my time and find out why my response from the other is not working back. Come on, space, add the space again. Try this again. Let's see. I didn't add the space. Start this one too. I really get frustrated. So after every con you have to give a space. There's no space, so something is already in session. Using the right channel. Bad gateway. Wow. So this was a bad gateway. Oh. Let's go again. Right, so let's do our short code and we'll wrap up for this one and move to the second version to look at. Oh wow, all these technical issues today right now. Still getting a bad gateway. Let me see if my service is running. So my service is not really running. I'm getting a bad gateway. You can't reach my service. Yeah, so our service is running now, so we shouldn't get a bad gateway. Let's refresh it. The port and pin won't change. The port and IP address is not going to change because that's the default port. Let's change this number. Wow, still bad gateway. Oh, nice ngrok. PowerShell is off. Oh, you have to go and change the callback URL all again. Oh, So okay, I think that'll be for this CodeFilms. So there's nothing much to show here, just the fact that there's a security concerns here. That's what we are looking at, the security concerns about the pin, about someone entering your pin. If that flow wasn't there, someone could have just entered your pin and gone straight to do whatever he wants. So that's a security concern. Any other thing here was not meant for this code field. Alright, so let's just change this again and see. Save. Go launch our simulator. Let's look for another number. Let's start our short code. It's not catching the request, so it's still hasn't yet fully been updated. It's just showing that it has been updated, but it doesn't look like it has been updated yet. So let's give some time. Come back and see. If it was really working, we should have caught it here, but it's not catching on the console, so this is still in a session. Yeah, so it's not as quoted, so now we know that it is really working. So one task quoted again. Let's get the phone number from the database. One, two, three, four. Yeah, good. So now, oh good, you see, now that's being handled. Yeah. So the reason we're having that error is because that exception wasn't yet handled. Wow. So that's why we're having that error. So we just done some gibberish code to handle that, just to check why we're getting that. So it has to be handled. So that's the pin entrance level. So you have to have a pin level. So you have to actually get the pin level out of that. If the length is greater than 2, the length is greater than 2 because we are taking the level and then we take the phone number. So after every phone number we pick the pin. That's the logic. So after every phone number we have to pick the pin. So the pin will come in at the second level at 0, 1 and 2. So it has to be after 2. So that's what we're trying to do here. We say string pin. So pin string has to be equal to the text array. It has to be 2, but you know when you're starting you catch an exception. So you can actually hide this instead of you counting. That's a bad logic. It's counting, put it in an exception block and catch the exception and call that exception a null pointer exception. Why am I here? So you see everything is coming to life now. So yeah, so wow, it's good we didn't give up. So it's good we didn't give up. So null pointer exception, fine. So if you do catch the null pointer exception, just do nothing. This was just show on the logs that we caught this exception, meaning that pin not entered yet. Pin not entered yet. So this is the level that we know that pin is going to be entered. So first of all, we'll say we'll log it. We'll log it with sysout. Don't worry, we'll define a good logger. We'll log the level not caught. We did see that it was caught by exception. Let the level not caught, then just out. So and we go out. So this is what we're going to do now. So after every two we get exception. After every two we get pin. Sorry. So we come and now set it at pin string. So pin string is now going to be this. Alright, so this is the logic. So when we are here now, we'll say con we are here, con we are here, con we are here. So let's change the message so we know that it is working. So we say con we are, con you have entered your pin. Okay, so and then con has to become first. We add this before con, we get error, so it has to be a spin. So when it goes to the gateway or the server, it knows that con is a continuation of a session. But if you put end here, it will terminate the session. So that's how it knows when to end and generate a new session. So if you put end here, the session will end, and then when we come to our logs, the session that is started with, that's this session ID will be ended. This will be ended because it came with an end. So I believe somewhere in their code they are saying if maybe, I'm just assuming I'm a programmer, so I say I write code, so I'm sure they'll say if, oh come on, what is this? If maybe USSD code, USSD session terminator, session is not equal to end, then maybe continue flow or flow continues, flow continues, else maybe else then come on. Else, what will happen here is that if it's not equal to end, then continue, else generate a new session. So we call a generate new session ID here. So this method will generate a new session, and then that will be a response, maybe a response somewhere. Then it could be a single response, maybe session ID as a response. Then it could be in a pojo, maybe gateway. It could be a gateway response. In that response, you pass the session ID as an object. Maybe you pass the network code. Network code, any other parameters the person needs, but I know that this part will be done. So you generate a new session ID and then you pass it to the gateway response. So you really return the gateway response. Maybe as a new instance of a particular gateway class. Yeah, something of this sort. I don't know, something of this sort. So this is how probably that logic is in. But as long as it's not equal to end, maintain the same session ID and do whatever it has to be done. So I'm sure that's the handling taking place at the back end. Yep. So that was just by the way. Okay, so yeah, so this is the CodeFilm that now you've changed it. So let's just go and see the pin string and see what happens. Let's start it again. So since we are here, is this still showing we are here? So having reloaded the application, it's not auto reload, is it? So suppose we have entered pin, so let's do a new deployment or a new another run, because we've made changes. So that's why it wasn't working. Let's just run it again. Let's do it again. Oh, let's refresh it. I don't really trust. Let's stuff. Sometimes I have to refresh to be sure. And so let's start this. Let's enter the phone number. Internal server error, that's good. So internal server error, saying 500. So array, this is a exception we actually have to catch. Array is out of bounds, so we are catching this exception rather. So good. So it's the Java lang, and then this is the class. So this is the class. If it was another package, you'd have continued. So this is the class we want to catch. So no pointer exception, no, not pointer exception, but array out of bounds. So you could have caught as a general exception, or you could have been more specific. So let's catch the general. This is the exception we want to catch. So this is the class, and then this is the object. So you can print it out with it. And later you could have added a e.get message or something. Yeah, so because this is a package, the lang is a package, and inside that package we have this class. Yeah, so package as Java, go to the lang just like this, com USSD config. So unless we come, if there's no continuation here, then it's a class. But it continues, that means there's another package inside there. So there's a package, then class. So this is a class. So it starts with a capital. That's how you know that's a class. Yeah. So you want to catch that class, that exception. So let's do another deployment. This CodeFilm has really kept long. It was just meant for security concerns, and I've shown you I think I've shown the security concerns about it coming from, if there was no pin prompt, you could have come for your friend's phone number and you could have actually linked his Ghana card to your account. But because we have the on-screen print, that's not possible, because you have to enter your pin, and if you give your pin to someone, then that's your security flaw, that's your own personal security and risk that you've violated. So you can't really blame the bank for that. So the bank always send you messages about do this and don't do that, do this and don't do that, so in case anything happens, you don't come and reach out to them and tell them that they're the ones responsible for that, because they will take no responsibility once they've sent you messages or SMS concerning certain things. So if the bank wants to always put the blame on you, these are some of the things they can do. But this could have been improved, maybe using a 2FA or MFA. It's USSD, so I don't know if that MFA could be done, or OTP 2 is another nice way, one-time password. But you know, sometimes implementation and talk is different, so sometimes I don't know, it's supposed to be there. Pin prompt, you should have some OTP, some other ways, not just pin. Maybe if I give my pin, what else? Maybe we could have an OTP now, one-time password that is being sent to my phone. We are not assuming that I always have my phone. You understand what I'm saying? We are assuming that anybody could have my phone. So even if it gets to this side, it's supposed to be some OTP to enter to verify. But probably there's reason why that hasn't yet been implemented. So let's go to the next level. Pin string. So you have entered your pin. Woo! Aren't we happy, people? But you see, continuous here, it's not supposed to be a con. Here it's supposed to be an end. So you realize that some USSD still pick this as a con, which is wrong. You have entered your pin. So if you make it an end here, you realize that the session will really end. So con means the session continues. So you see it's still active. But if you do an end, you realize that the session ID will change. All these you can be keeping them in the database as and when it's occurring. Actually, it's a huge project. It looks simple, but it's huge. But this is the basics of USSD. So because we are catching the exception, now we can now move to the next page. Now we'll see how to do the number of pin retries. I'll look at that video. We'll do that video. So sorry. I'll produce that video. I will go there too. So right now, even if I enter an invalid pin, it still pushes me to the this thing. So let's continue to the next flow. Sorry. I'm becoming so let's do an invalid pin. Let's do an invalid pin. See something. See, it's not really being caught. Let's go back again. Let's enter 1, 2, 3, 5. Because there's no handler for that. That's the meaning of this. The response we are getting. So it says if it's successful, then do this. So what if it's not successful? Because we are doing some verification here. We go into the verify method and we expand this. So it's going to select where the phone number is that. So try this first. So name an account and that's if there's no results found. Sorry, account does not exist. That's for verifying the phone number. That's just the phone number. Out of the pin. No, the pin is not yet being verified. This is just for the verifying the mobile number in this level. So this is for this level 1 and you pick the phone number. This could have been improved, so just for the way. So you pick the phone number, then you verify the phone number. So now we're entering our pin. So we're in the next level. We have 1 star and you pick the pin. So if you pick the pin, you enter the pin and it's successful, what should be the response? If it's not successful, what should be the response? So let's do it again. 1, the first process. So we are here now. All this you can log them. You log all of them. You don't leave anything out. Paste again. So we are done with 1. Now we are coming to 1 and the phone number. So good. Now we are here. We verify the phone number and we display the word enter pin message. This is the message we've displayed, and it's going as con. Because it's going as con, it's still waiting for what acceptance of what display phone number. It's searching for what phone number to what to take in, enter pin to take in. So that's where we are now. We are here. So if I enter the pin, let's do some 1, 2, 3, 4. It just moves on to the next stage that you've entered. Sorry. It could be the network, my people. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, why am I having this issue today, right now? Is there anything I'm not doing right? So end display. Okay. Enter. Have we changed something I'm not supposed to change? Okay, it's the end. You see, end here has no space. So if we put a space here now, this is the end because we are at this level now. 1 onboarded pin string and pin string. So we have to look at our logs. So I'm not logging the level. So there's a project that I've started the logging inside. So you see, it's becoming difficult to even debug. We are getting lost. So now we fix the end. But have I done a new run? Okay, I've done a new run. Is it a new run or is it a continuation? So let's confirm. So this is the level now. We're at enter pin message. So we are coming here now 1, and the reason is because we are still on con. It's con. So con is still continuing to get a pin. So let's do the fresh deployment now because I haven't done it. I've just made changes. So that's why we have to be logging almost every step. Every step has to be logged. Every single step. Alright, so let's dial it again. First of all, let's refresh this. Let's forsake. You can still continue, but sometimes let's just refresh it. If we refresh and it doesn't change, then it's like, no, this time. I prefer that you can start again. Or we can still continue and see. Next time we just continue. We're supposed to not have interference, but I don't know how real time this thing is. Whether it's that real time and time, because it's just picking the URL on the callback, so we're supposed to be able to continue. Okay, so yes, pin not entered yet. Index 2. We've caught that beautiful exception array. had a challenge with the face. Fine. When we're entering the phone number, enter the phone number. This is the level we are now, mobile number. Now we're entering the pin. So this is it is gone. it goes down and then it comes up to the process again. It starts the process again because it's a post. So it's an you are doing a post, so it comes back all over again. When it comes back all over again, it comes just there. That was if. So the next one is I'm expecting another condition. So the first condition before pin. And it says you have entered your pin. So now it says an end. You see, with that end, you don't have a continuous send. It just says OK. And hit OK. You are done. Woo! So that is security concerns we are looking at. That the fact that if you are even having a pin screen prompt, anybody can enter your pin. And the next thing we have to look at is the other version. The other version has what we are not having now, the login, and then also has the design of on pin screen print, on pin prompt, or on prompt, or prompt incorrect pin as a prompt, not as an error message, or as an error, or as anything else. So this is just the first part. So there are hitches here and there, but we resolved it, and always try and comment your code as much as possible. For now, commenting wasn't right, so we had to struggle with this first. But I know that this design can be re-engineered. It's actually coming from the layout for this is coming from the Africa stocking sample source code to get started. So overview, handle sessions. So this is where it's coming from. So you choose your version Java, then you get started. So this is the basic stuff they put out. But if you want to build the actual USSD, anything you have to change it. They just make you aware that this is the endpoint. That the endpoint is USSD, but what they need is the actual payload. So you can actually change this as what we did. Yeah, we actually modify the URL completely because it's just it's our API. Now this is what we are going to be using. Yeah, so and also we use the same thing. So Horizon Bank, then backslash stuff. So if you actually want to go with the API, they have a documentation how to get started with the API. Refresh tokens, so generate the token, and the request header is required from you. So the parameters you have to pass when using a username and API, when using the auth key. After you've done the validation, now how to post to the API. It says they read everything as this. You can get getting started and how to handle the sessions, and tells you about the colon in the end. Now these are the parameters they need. So you're actually going to post with these parameters to the API. So it's just what you need from you is just your callback URL, and that callback URL is a post. So you are the one that's going to actually write the flow, write the design to get started. So this is just what they've done for you. So they are saying post USSD. This is a sample source code to get started. If you are not okay with that, you also have SDK for Java. This is a Java SDK. You can go with any approach you want. You can really add it to your project and see what fun stuff you can get out of it. So and then that's just the API way. So it's up to you. It's all up to you. Your design approach is up to you, but there's an API for doing that. So you can re-engineer everything for your own design. Just as I started and did what I could do. So every level is being counted. 1, 2. So if you have another level, but you see what they didn't handle was my level handling. So I'm doing one at onboarding. So this is why I start implementing my own logic. But the layout is quite straightforward. If it's empty, first screen. If you start with 1, this is 1 level, a menu. 1 level, a menu. Now this is the first level, and what? The text. So it could be, you can't have another first level with a menu because it's coming as an array. The text is coming as an array. The text here, it comes as a string and that string is coming as maybe the level, the string, the separator, and then the actual text or what you want to do. So that's what's actually coming. You're actually picking the level, everything as a text. So if you want to go to the first level is 1. If you want to go to the second level is 2. If you want to go to the third level is 3. If you want to go to the fourth level is 4. If you want to go to the first level and do something is 1 times. If you want to go to the second level and do something is 2 times. Third level do something is 3 times. Fourth level it is 4 times. So you have to actually write this implementation. You can have a nice way of doing this. You can actually use a switch to do this and say switch, and you see level, and do your level designation. So if it's a case of 1, you do this, and inside that case of 1, you could define some constants. You know that you have maybe 3 levels down here. You have at 1, you have maybe at 1, at the 1 menu. So we'll make 1 as a menu, 1 menu, 1 star, 1 menu as the other 1 menu. At 1 menu, so I say at 1 menu, you have maybe 6 levels. So 6 levels, 6 constants. Maybe at 2 menu, you have 4 levels. It all depends on you. So the 4 levels could be APIs. And then it's quite straightforward. It doesn't look difficult again as I started. So at 3 menu, you have 4 levels. So you define all your levels before you even start. At maybe 4 menu, you have 10 levels. So this is what you are going to be doing now. You have 1, 2, 3, 4. So I just have 1 menu. So what I have is 1 menu, and it is what? The first one is account, link Ghana card. So the first one is Ghana card linking. That's the menu. And how many levels do I have? I have the pin menu. No, I have the pin level. I have the mobile number verification level. So mobile number verification level. I have the after mobile, I have the pin number level, and I have the final level as the linking level, the linking status level. Beautiful. I have another one too. That too, I have the passport linking level. So there's the passport. So this is the one is the Ghana card menu, but I have the Ghana card linking, and I have number of levels. So let's do the levels as this: mobile verification level, pin number, and this. So I have the passport. So I have the passport. I have the passport linking menu. In the passport menu, maybe I'll do passport verification level, and I'll do the maybe you verify your passport. Before you verify your passport, maybe this one is still you are still on the Horizon Bank platform. So you are still on Horizon Bank platform. So you are still on the Horizon Bank platform. So still you have to maybe do pin number level. After that, you do your linking status level. Then you come down. The third one was, I think, driver's license level, license linking menu. And in this menu, you have how many levels? You have the maybe license verification level. And then we have the pin number level. could be any of them. You could make pin number even come before mobile number verification. It's up to you. It's your code. Here we are making, you pass your onboarded number, so you could change, because this one is Ghana card. So you've entered your account number, and you pass your mobile number, and you verify your pin number. So after your mobile number has verified, then you go, so it's actually mobile phone number verification to see if you exist on the banking platform, because that's what's unique. Then you do your pin number and do your linking status. Maybe the next one is the linking status level. So we have one menu. You go to this menu, you go to this level. So you can have a menu and sub menu. So you can say a menu and levels, up to you. But what you have to know is this how it's going to be done. You could still follow the same basic layers. So but after that, all the inside thing, you have to write that. You have to sit there and see how you even call mobile number verification level, how you call the pin number level, how you call the linking status level, what logic you use, or how you are going to even do that. Whether it's a case, you look at, or constants, and it's your programming skills. So this is where your programming skills really comes inside. But you'll be able to, it won't be difficult. It's fixed, it doesn't change. So you could go with a constant approach. Yeah, that was just by the way. That's not the actual CodeFilm for this, but this is the basic principle of USSDs. So Ghana card menu, mobile card, this. So you can start with this, and inside this I'll do this. So inside here I'll do this, inside here I'll do this, inside this I'll do this. So this could be one pojo. Can make this a pojo, an object. This is an object. This is another object. And this is another what? Object. So this on this object, and I go to this object, this is what it can do. I'll list everything. And I go to this object, this is what I can do. And I come to this object, this is what I can do. Then I'm done with this, and I go here. This is another object. This is another object. This is another. Then I'll create a level class, and I'll put everything inside. So that's one way. Or I'll create a level class, and I'll extend the basic functionalities that are common to this. So many ways of killing a cat. Yeah, so I'll pause here, and I'll come back. Then we look at the other version. So we've seen our security concerns whereby we need our pin number. So I won't talk too much. Yeah, that's it for this CodeFilm. So thank you for your time, and then sorry it was very lengthy. So the next one is going to be login. We are looking at the other. We look at the other version. That version has the pin prompt and has the login inside. So thank you so much. I didn't explain some things too, so I'll explain all those ones too. I'll explain these columns in the next one. The status. Why do I have status? Alright, so thank you, and then we'll talk later. Ciao.